Hi, Devindi. Thank you so much for joining eTap Docs podcast. The podcast, bi-weekly podcast for doctoral student in education and beyond. So the topic of today is about your, a doctoral experience with doing coursework. And doing coursework is something kind of unique to doctoral students in the United States, where they spend a couple of first year in their doctoral study to take classes that directly relate to their topic interest and also some research methodology class. So today with me, our guest speaker today is Miss Devindi, our first year doctoral student in our program. So Devindi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is your background before joining the program at ETAP?
Sure. Thank you, Anne. Thank you for having me. So I actually did my bachelor in Sri Lanka. I actually specialized in English literature and French at the university. Then I came to the United States in 2017 and 2018 I started my master's at SUNY Binghamton, and that was in TESOL. So I graduated in 2020. Then I applied for the curriculum and instruction, PhD in curriculum and instruction at UAlbany. So this is my first semester.
So how's your first semester going? What milestone do you have, to fulfill in the upcoming year? And are you kind of, nervous or start preparing for it right now?
Oh yeah, I'm actually nervous because I have different roles. I'm a mom, so I have to sacrifice a lot of time for my baby. So I'm still trying to, I would say I'm still in the transition period. So it's a little bit stressful, and yes, the milestone. So I don't have a specific research topic right now. But I have a lot of thoughts. So I'm just trying to narrow down everything and just trying to figure out what a research topic. And I don't want to focus on something I don't like, because I'm going to be stuck with that topic for 5 years. So I just want to choose something I really like and something I really want to research on, and something that is really related to my career and what I want to do in the future. So and I know in the third semester I have the gateway paper. I have to write the gateway paper. So these days I'm just questioning myself what I want to research on and what I like actually.
Yeah, so gateway paper is a kind of 12 to 15 pages where you will list out your motivation for what you are going to study, and a literature review, what you have known about that study. So do you think the classes you choose to engage in this semester, especially in also next semester, your first year in the program, will help you in any way to narrow down your research interest? And also, not just only the coursework, but also, the advisor, your colleague, your mentors in the program. Do you think they kind of help you in a way to kind of navigate the direction of your study?
Of course. So 2 of the courses I'm taking this semester, they are directly related to my specialization, that is TESOL. So at the beginning also, when I entered the program, I had an idea I want to learn more about how to use student L1 to teach a new language. So then I got to know about translanguaging. That is one of the classes I'm taking. So actually that really helped me to understand what I want to study very deeply, and how I can apply that in real world context, and also the issues related to that, so that I can have a kind of an idea what I can research on. And I feel if I do a research, that should be applicable, so the other teachers should be able to apply that. So I just want to find a real issue that is prevalent, not in just in this country, but in the other countries as well. So actually the translanguaging course really helped me for that, and also bilingualism, because I'm going to teach. So my specialization is TESOL. So I'm just preparing myself to teach other teachers how to teach a language. So I get to study how a student acquires a language, what are the strategies a teacher teacher can use in the classroom to better help the students. So I actually get a lot of ideas from those two classes as to what I can read more on and what I can just find about in the future actually.
Can you tell us, so like for the audience who kind of like not familiar in the field of language education, most of the audience may have known the terminology TESOL, right? But it's like English teaching for other speaker languages. Or in the US, I think the familiar terminology could be used as English as a new language or teaching English as a second language. So basically, coming from an international background, your approach is kind of international as well. But I think for doctoral students who are in education and who are familiar with language education or literacy can also find a lot of common ground, a lot of the same interests. So those classes focus on content like that would be helpful for them, like you say, to have time to read more deeper into the topic. Can you tell us a little bit more about the translanguaging? Like what is translanguaging and why do you think is benefit for an English teacher to know about that approach?
Okay, so we should first understand like our students are learning a language and they are not expert in that language, they are not really proficient. So maybe they have the knowledge about a certain topic. Maybe they don't have the words or grammar structures or enough proficiency to express themselves. So a teacher who is like into translanguaging understands that. So the teacher allows the student to use both languages, and also in the teaching process, the teacher uses student's home language too to give him give a clear explanation of the instruction, the content, so the teacher can like move on from one language to the other to like better explain something, so the student can get a deeper understanding of the content or the instruction, and they can apply that knowledge better in their learning process.
So I feel like in this level of courses, and usually it's like 600 level courses or 700 or 800 level courses, and actually the translanguaging class you're talking about is the 800, which is like doctoral seminar. So I guess when it comes to the culture of learning, it's also different. So compare when you were in a master student, what kind of differences that you witness in a doctoral level classes and the cohort of doctoral students that you engage with them? Do you think the dynamic is different compared with when you were in your master program, master level courses?
Actually, Han, thank you for asking that question. So I think like my master's courses are not that different from my doctoral level courses, but when I first started my master's at SUNY Binghamton, it was really hard for me to adapt myself to that learning environment, because I'm coming from a country where, so in Sri Lanka, we are like, the learning context is like very exam oriented. So we don't have like formative assessments, but we have like an exam at the end. So like we don't work every day, and we don't go to lectures like prepare, and we don't read before the exam. So when I first started my master's at BU, it was really hard for me, because we have a lot of reading, and we have like weekly assignments, we have like so many tasks to complete. And also, I wasn't used to speaking in the class, because in my country, we just sit in the class, we just take notes, and we just leave. So it was really hard for me to get used to this learning environment. But I think when I start my doctoral studies, it's still hard for me to speak in class. I just have to push myself, because I like to just sit, listen to the professors, listen to the other students, and just put everything in my head, and I just like to study on my own. But I know like there are benefits from like engaging in discussions with classmates, with professors. So yeah, and I think like the 800 level course is a little bit challenging for me, because this is my first semester, and most of the other students are from like third year, fourth year, so they talk a lot in the class, and I don't have that much knowledge, because because they have already taken like a lot of classes related to their specialization. So
you're right. You're right. Like for the doctoral level, usually you would take classes with third year doctoral student or fourth year doctoral student who have read extensively about the topic that they choose, because like you're saying, they will choose the classes that will align with their research interest. So actually they have so much to offer. But as a doctoral student, I think it's inspiring, and it's like you have a fresher views and great opportunity to find your voice too. So what's your tip though? What is the most challenging activity in that doctoral level class that you found, and then how do you overcome those challenges?
Okay, Han, so I can remember my first class. I was like, after the class, I was lost. Like all the other students knew what trans language it was. I didn't have any idea what it was. But like after doing, so I did like one presentation and one forum talk. So I think like I'm taking 2 other courses too. Those are 600 level courses. So I invest more time in this one because I feel like it's more challenging for me. But when I performed, I feel like I'm not behind because I work so hard. So the tip is to like get help. So you have your TA and you have your professor. They are always there to help you, and some of your classmates, they also want to help you. So I think even though you feel it's challenging, you can get there.
So you're saying you're also taking other 600 level courses as well? I don't know about that. Can you tell me more about those classes? And what kind of activities in those 600 compared with 800? What kind of activities there in those classes?
So I'm taking systematic design of instruction, that is ETAP 623. That's completely online, and we don't have like a lecture. We just have like readings and everything like that. So we just do the readings. We just post discussion on the discussion board, and it's also very interactive because we comment on it, other students post, and the other students also comment on our post. So it's very interactive. And for that course, we are designing a big course. So we try to apply everything we learn in that course and design something very interactive for maybe I might be able to use that in my future with my students, and the other teachers will also be able to use that. And the other course is bilingualism, that's 652. And so we have like an exam, 2 exams. That is very different because I think like after the US, I didn't take any exams, like even in my master's. So this is going to be like my first exam. Now like I have forgotten how to study for the exam actually. So that is one difference. And I would say like it's not that challenging like the 830. I feel like the professor does not expect that much of a standard. I'm not sure if he has like different expectations from master students and doctoral students, but I feel free in that class, and I like to talk in that class. I feel like the content is also not that cognitively challenging. So I feel free in that class actually.
The doctoral level is cognitively challenging. Okay. Let me kind of phrase it in a way that the coursework for doctoral students are very diverse. You can take classes with master level students and do something very practical, very creative, very applicable. But at the same time, you can also take very in-depth classes that, like you say, can be cognitively challenging, theoretical, theoretical inquiry, and also kind of even exam orientation. Because, some department, they still have the oral comprehensive exam, and our department have pilot study. So I think though doctoral student courses are kind of prepare the student mentally for the rigor, for the seriousness of those milestones, I think. So it's a very diverse. So how do you know to balance different types of classes like asynchronous class and synchronous class, and some class are very challenging, like you have to write paper, and some classes you have to do like project or even group project. So when you take coursework, any moment that you feel like overwhelmed, and how you manage to do the homework, any tips you want to share with us that work for you, in your situation?
I actually feel very overwhelmed. As I told you earlier, I have different roles to play. Like I'm a mother, and we are all like graduate assistants or TAs or RAs. So I have to balance everything. So, but like I try to invest more time on my doctoral level course, 830, because it's hard, and even the reading things are hard. So I actually invest more time on that. And with the other two courses, I actually have a schedule. Like I plan everything at the beginning of the week, and if I have like assignments coming up, then I try to focus them on at the beginning, and then like weekly discussions, I don't take much time for the discussions, so I postpone them till the end of the week. But I feel I finish everything on time. So for me, it's been like it's like planning out everything. And one tip is like I don't wait till the last moment. I plan everything ahead of time, like at least 2 weeks. So if I have an assignment coming up in 2 weeks, I just start preparing for it like 2 weeks ahead of time. So that is.
And let me ask you like one question about the methodology of how you work it out. So basically, one milestone you have to complete is a gateway, right? And now you are taking courses. So how do you document or how do you reflect on what you have learned, and then connect it with your own research, with your own gateway? Do you have any method of like storing what you have read, or record your thinking about the topic, like a method, like any kind of working strategy to connect the courses you take and the research you're going to pursue?
So the translation class, it's directly connected with the research topic I have in mind. So I'm still trying to find out what are like a specific research topic, but I think like all the research papers I try to find out, like I download or I get from the internet. I can store them also. I can use them for all 5 years. And when I read them, like I have 1 more year before the gateway, so I just try to read them over and over and again. So I just try to get the information in my head like in a very clear way. So I think in that way it's going to be very helpful. And also actually so we have like assignments. So I try to so we have the freedom to choose a topic we like. So I try to choose a topic that's connected with my gateway paper. So I don't have to prepare for the gateway paper from the beginning. So I'll have like a, so how do you say that? I have like a, I feel like I'm preparing for it right now.
So I think that's a good tip that we know that we focus on on the content of the classes, but at the same time we shouldn't forget that we have our own research as well. So do you want to like getting A in all those classes, and also like complete the milestone? Is that like your goal when you take classes?
I am actually really concerned about my grades. I think that really matters in the future. So I'm like, yeah.
I guess all doctoral students are like perfectionists. So I heard that you also did very well in your midterm exam. So in those kind of like intense classes or intense milestone, like you have to study for an exam, even if verbally or in a written format, or like conduct a whole gateway writing or pilot writing. Do you have any tips for students to to study hard? Usually, for example, you mentioned reading. When you read something, can you describe how you read and how you approach the reading or approach the revision documents, for example? How you organize them and kind of review them systematically so that you can earn the best result. Will you print them out, or will you use any apps on digital devices to kind of interact with the text? And how do you learn the knowledge in a systematic way?
I actually print them out because I'm not used to reading on the screen. So I just print them out, and I use different colors to highlight. So I basically in my head I try to identify different themes, and maybe I'll just use quotations and mention those page numbers, so it's easy for me to find them in the future. So maybe sometimes I read something in a paper, then later when I want to find that out, I don't remember. So I just keep notes. I keep track of the pages. Sometimes I in the computer I just copy and paste the quotations, important quotations. So and I divide them into themes I want to use in the future.
I see. And so it means that when you take coursework, you also need to commit to the requirement of the coursework. But at the same time, finding a way of learning that works for you will also be very important, so you can ensure that it's connect with your research interest and help you delve more into the research that you're going to write about, to pursue. So, in our university, and especially doctoral students, they can take classes in their department and outside their department too. So when it comes to choosing and selecting a class, there can be a lot of suggestions. So what are some criteria in your case when it comes to select a class that would benefit you in at the moment and in the long run? What are some criteria?
So I actually got help from my advisor, because I didn't want to take any courses that is irrelevant. I just want to waste my time. So he chose 2 courses for me. So my advice is to reach out to your advisor. So that is the best source as to find out as to what you should take. And I took systematic design of instruction because I really like to know how to design curriculum. We just can't. So there's a lot of things that we have to take into consideration when we design a lesson plan or a whole curriculum, and that is why I took that. So I just want to know how to align objectives, learning activities, assessment, and there are different methods of learning like project-based learning and so inquiry-based learning. So I really like to learn those approaches. So that is why I took it, and my advisor did not chat. This is I feel like this is a broad one, so any content teacher can get it and take it, and they can apply their specialization into that. So I feel like it will be really helpful for me in the future when I want to design courses and lesson plans for my students.
I see. So getting advice from the professor and also knowing what you like to explore in depth will be also one of the criteria. Any other sources or I think there is some, usually at the beginning of the semester when we select the courses, the department will also send out some information of courses. You receive it in the email, right? So especially method score, like research skill, like quantitative or qualitative. So are you planning or having any plan or strategy in order to also select the research skill courses as well? Especially I know that our department is really good with qualitative courses, but if you need to take courses outside of the department, what can be some sources of advice or that you think it may be very helpful?
I think the advisor is the best source because he knows your research interest and how you're going to do that. So he can advise you, okay, this is the best course for you. And also like senior students, you can ask them what they took and what their interest is and what are the methods they're using and what are the courses they took. So yeah, that is what I'm planning to do. So my plan is to first talk with the advisor because he knows best what I'm gonna do. So I can also ask, so we have some kind of knowledge what we are going to do. Maybe we can read the courses and select some courses and ask the advisor if we can select them or if there are better ones that we can select. And we can also ask the senior students.
Yeah. So, in some country, they will go right away to taking, just research courses, and then they jump into the topic right away. But you see that in the United States, the PhD program is designed in a way that you can take some classes that related to the content area and, your specialization, your concentration. Do you think it's like a disadvantage or an advantage from your personal perspective? Like, do you think it take you more time to finish the program, or would you see any good side about the coursework in the PhD program in the United States?
It's time consuming, but I really like taking courses. I can't imagine like starting a PhD, like starting it with like a research, because I feel like I don't have that much of knowledge. So taking content courses as well as methodology courses prepare you for so it helps you to identify what you like and also to get more knowledge about the topics you want to research on. So even though it's time consuming, it's like 5 years, it's a long time, but I prefer taking courses and then getting ready for a research or a dissertation. I really love them because we learn a lot from the courses.
Yeah, and you mentioned them in our talk today, right? Like innovative idea, how to have a critical thinking mindset before you become the researcher, you kind of like become the scholar when you know how to read very difficult, long research-based papers. Yeah, right? Like, do you see that reading is also like difficult when it comes to this level, right? So. Thank you for sharing how you do it, like the tips for other students in the community, so they can have some focus idea that the coursework gonna or have to link with their research interest, and they can take advice from the advisor and also like senior college, but at the same time they can explore 1 or 2 courses that they like and suit their interest, for example. So I feel like it's a very diverse, and you can enhance the general knowledge of the field, right? If you will do something different in terms of like coursework in the next semester, what do you want to? Anything you want to change? Anything you want to improve? Saying that you have to modify a lot, like from not speaking a lot in class to, okay, Devindi have to say something in the opinion forum, for example. So any area of personal development that you want to improve in the next semester when you take courses?
You mean like if I want to change something in like in the courses, or in like how I do it, in how I study?
I would say both. Like it can be both way. Like how do you change to adapt to the requirement of the courses? But yeah, you're right. At the same time, how those courses you think can be made in a way that better cater the diversity of doctoral students as well. Yeah.
So the first thing that comes to my mind is like having more in-person classes. Maybe it's not possible because some students do not prefer to come to university. I think they are okay, and I can't think of any modifications right now actually.
Yeah, because I think you try all your best, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just try all your best. we all know doctoral students, they are professionals, so they will do great in the class. But just make sure that the class are something connected to what they are doing, so that it can save their energy, intellectual energy as well.
I think like it's better to have like a research topic, like talk to your advisor, get an idea what you want to do. So it actually saves your time later, because if you like start with one topic and if you want to change it, it's like time consuming, will drag to like more than 5 years. So we don't want to do that. So
yeah. All right. So thank you, Devindi, so much for sharing your experience with choosing courses, balancing different courses, and balancing different level of difficulty in the courses, and have fun when taking coursework, because it actually can help you grow intellectually as well. So thank you so much for being with us today, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
And before we end this, I just have to say one thing for the new students. So in the US, like in universities, we have like a lot of resources out there. So if you struggle with writing, there is the writing center out there. And if something is not clear, you can reach out to your advisor. He is always helpful, and you have your TA. So just don't struggle alone. Just reach out to. So identify your support system and just reach out to them. So that is what I have to say at the end.
Yeah, thank you so much for emphasizing that the importance of support system. Like you say, don't wait until the last minute to work on something. So if you find any question or struggle or challenges related to the content or even the skill to complete the course, you can start as early as possible and engage with like writing center, like you say, or office hours. Especially for doctoral level, when you have to write paper or when you have to compile a presentation in an opinion forum in a scholarly way. So those are like very fresh and very brand new practices for some people, especially if they come to the program as a practitioner, right? So definitely they deserve the support system, and they should know about the support system. Yeah. So what a journey you have been through, Devindi. So all luck for your upcoming papers and exams. And like we are here, ETAP Docs is like a community where we kind of like make it through. So hope everything gonna be turn out the way that you expect. Thank you so much, Devindi, for the podcast.
Thank you very much, Han. Thank you very much for having me and giving me this opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.